Listen, okay. Welcome in, everybody, to another live edition of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with my co-host, James Haskell, and of course, DK in the background. We are excited to get to this episode and talk, about all the things that happened over the weekend, the Ravens winning, the Steelers losing, and of course, this upcoming matchup on Saturday with the Steelers that could ultimately decide the division. But before we get into all the things we're going to discuss, Jimbo, who is this show's sponsor?
Yes, this show is brought to us by BetOnline, a great partner of ours. And BetOnline, of course, continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. You get early odds, in-game live betting. Of course, they do all the sports, whether it's from, we're here for the NFL, but they do NBA, college, NHL, UFC, college basketball, of course. I think the Terps are on right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So do some in-game betting if you want, if that tickles your fancy. But either way, head to BetOnline today. And when you do, don't forget, you get a nice welcome bonus if you use the promo code BLEAV, BLEAV. Check that out. Make sure you use it for your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Absolutely appreciate BetOnline for sponsoring this episode. But Jimbo, we got to start talking about Deontay Johnson. Unfortunately, I didn't think this would still be the topic of conversation, but it continues to be. He had the 1 week suspension for last week, which included all team activities and the game. So his suspension is up, but still the question, where is Deontay? Got some clarity. Coach was asked about where is Deontay as his absence was noted by the reporters at practice. And he said, look, his suspension is over, but both the team and Deontay have mutually agreed for him to step away from the team and all activities associated with the team. So we don't really know anything beyond that. And so it's kind of leaving a lot of fans and media members kind of scratching their head going, what does that mean for the future? What does that mean for their 90-man roster? What does that mean for a lot of things? But what was your take when you heard Coach talk about, well, he's away from the team. He's not suspended, but he's just away from the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think you brought up some good points in the pregame show. I initially thought this is just a way for the Ravens to essentially buy, like you're continuing to pay him. You keep the cancer away from the locker room, but you're buying a compensatory pick in the coming year. Who knows what that'll end up being, because I don't think he's going to levy some massive deal. But that's kind of the way that I saw it. But you had a different take on it too.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of potentially a comp pick, but the biggest part of the formula of what you receive in return for a comp pick is, what do they sign for? What's the length of their deal and the value of their contract? I can't imagine he's getting much more than a vet minimum 1 year deal, prove it deal at this point, with the track record of burning every bridge along the way as he has in his career. So I think the more likely reason is that they want to keep a potentially motivated to prove people wrong, still talented wide receiver away from other potential contenders like the Chiefs, the Bills, or really anyone, the Eagles, even on both sides of the ball. So I think it's a combination. Yeah, I think the compensatory pick might play a small factor, but I think the bigger factor is, hey, let's keep this guy away from being a motivated, thorn in our side potentially in the playoffs down the stretch.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I didn't initially think about that, but I think that's one we should consider, certainly. And look, we're obviously not going to spend a ton of time on Deontay Johnson. We wish him nothing but the best in next year. This year, just stay home and get paid to stay home.
But look, he's lucky. He is lucky. If you Maryland, Texas brought it up. Devondre Campbell, I believe is his first name, for the linebacker for the Niners, faced with a very similar situation where he was on the team. Dre Greenlaw came back as a starter. Upset Campbell. He thought he deserved to be the starter. They said, no, it's Greenlaw's turn. Then Greenlaw gets hurt in the game. They turn to Devondre Campbell, and he refuses to enter the game. And what happened? It wasn't the professional atmosphere like you're seeing in Baltimore, where the team says, hey, he's still our guy. He's still a wide receiver in this room. We're going to support him. And you don't hear, John, who issued the statement but said he didn't want to get into any details. That stuff stays in-house. That's not how they're treating it in San Fran. Charvarius Ward called it a sucker move and clowned the guy. Bosa said he heard about the complaint and didn't want to blow it up, didn't want to make anything worse, but the coach slams him. The GM is pursuing every legal avenue to try and get his signing bonus revoked from him. they are publicly bashing him from the highest up all the way down the roster. I mean, everybody is. So if he thinks it's bad here, all he's got to do is look to the West Coast and see how someone who's doing the exact same thing is being treated elsewhere, which is a lot worse. By the way, suspended him for 3 games.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. He's being treated mildly in comparison to, the same exact thing happening not too far away. Don C, shout out for the 5 gifted 410 Sports Talk memberships, of course. Man, Don C we should put how can we turn this into a Santa Claus type name? Don C. Don Claus?
Don Christmas. Don Claus. There you go.
Yeah, let's go. Don
Donnie
Claus.
Oh, there you
Yes, sir. I love it. Let's go. Don, shout out, dude. Appreciate it, man. Giving out the gifts. Make sure you guys go check it out. We did another pre-recording. So a little bit more content that'll be back there for you guys. Donnie Claus. There you go.
I
like that one too. Shout out to Tyler for that one. But yeah, man, I'm ready to turn the page on Deontay Johnson. It is what it is. Whatever. I'm over it. But I also want to talk about a few other things. So just to give you a rundown of the show outside of that, obviously we're going to talk about the improvements of the defenses, of things we think, that came through in the snap count as far as indicators to why the defense is improving, how the Ravens are continuing to tinker. We also want to talk about, we're going to do the calculator. We're going to do the playoff calculator, but there's something else that we wanted to talk about as well in between those two things. And now it's blanking, but it will circle back around.
I think it's just your rant.
Yeah, but there was one other thing.
We should keep better outline.
Anyway, let's talk about the snap count, Glenn.
Yeah, we'll figure it
because
out.
There's some things that are changing on the defense, right? First of all, I want to say I was super happy to see our Darius Washington out there. In the game. We talked about him, of course, but we know, hopefully all the personal issues and everything, we don't know what was going on. We just hope that it was for the best. Didn't travel the team. Glad he made it up there and obviously had an impact in the game. But, he's one of the pieces that the defense has made to change. But when Glenn mentioned him, we start looking at the snap count, there's other things that this defense has done personnel-wise that has caused their recent improvements. So what are some other things you've seen as indicators based on the snap count that the Ravens have done to make this defense more effective?
Yeah, and sometimes, look, there's got to be somebody who kind of takes the hit on this, and it looks like somebody who's at least. Look, I don't want to speak too much about what this might mean, but Trenton Simpson played 5 snaps, Jimbo, and those 5 snaps were at the end. Those 5 defensive snaps were at the end of the game. He did play some special team snaps, as you can see here at 14, but just 5 defensive snaps clearly at the end of the game when the game was already decided. And he was replaced by a combination of Chris Board and, look, a guy who's certainly, I think, earned it in Malik Harrison. But I think if I would have told you at the beginning of the season that at this point in the last quarter of the season, that Malik Harrison would have an 80% snap share count on our defense, and Trenton Simpson had 7%. I bet that would have surprised you, huh, Jimbo?
Yeah, no, most definitely. I mean, especially kind of, we talked about it. There was a bit of misusage of Malik Harrison early on in the season, and it didn't look great. But it seems like Board and Malik together is the player, right, that the Ravens have been looking for in that spot. Right. So you kind of play them in combinations, play them situationally, and allow them to accentuate their strengths, right? And help, minimize their weaknesses. Look, definitely a surprise, but I'm glad about a few things. We talked about the Ravens, predicting the Ravens making changes. And I think a lot of people were focused on the offensive line because of the poor output from the offensive line in that Eagles game.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a change. And I think this is a few games now. I don't think this is, but this is, I would be surprised. This has to have been his least amount of snaps all season for Simpson, right?
Yeah,
I felt like we were
outside of the injury to Roquan game, the most we've seen from Harrison.
Right. And I mean, that was, exactly. Because when Rowe went out, Malik had a hell of a game, one heck of a game. And then since then, the defense has said, look, we got to put this guy in.
Yep.
Right. It seems like that, that's the decision they've made. And it's exciting because this maybe is one of the changes. Everyone talked about changes. This is certainly one of them that the Ravens are deciding to make.
And look, he even outsnapped Roquan.
Talking about Malik. Let's see.
Yeah, by two more
that's
two
telling.
more snaps. And look, it's not like he just did it and it didn't turn into anything. He was our leading tackler.
Right.
He also had a sack and
Yep.
2 QB hits. I mean, this guy's been playing crazy. And so while we didn't maybe see some of the personnel changes that were most commonly predicted, which is the offensive line, we've seen personnel change. We heard from Marlon Humphrey over the last couple of days also, and he was asked about the change in the defense, and he credits more than I've heard elsewhere. He credits Kyle Hamilton going back in a more traditional safety role. Most people point to Ardarius coming in, and as you can see, I mean, 100% snap share for Ardarius Washington. So the guy did not miss a snap, but he pointed to Kyle Hamilton moving back into a more traditional role as being a big change in this defense. But again, 68, all 100% snaps for him. Kyle Hamilton, 74%. So, I mean, Ardarius is even out. He's outsnapped everyone on defense. So, I mean, man, this guy has made a massive jump. Love what I've been seeing from him. Obviously, had the interception and continues to stabilize us on the back end. But also, Jimbo, I know you're getting a little bit more excited, and I know DK is, and be on the lookout for some stuff DK is going to be putting up in the coming days. But
this is what we're going to talk about.
Nate Wiggins, man, 90% snap share. He played all but 7 total snaps. He continues to gain snaps every week and gain confidence every week. We saw Marlon Humphrey doing his famous, walk through the team, plane or bus, wherever they were traveling by this week. And he says, look, if we can't guard them, put 2 on them. That's the motto in Baltimore here with Nate Wiggins. And he looked fantastic going up against another stud rookie in Malik Neighbors. What do you think? Like, what do you see as Wiggins' role as we enter the playoffs coming in the end of the month?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer that question. And of course, as you can imagine, Glenn, I'm going to do it in a roundabout way. The Ravens defensively as a whole, I think that if you identified their struggles, a huge part of that was the big play. And that came from the breakdown on the back end. Sometimes it came from lack of pass rush without having to blitz. Other times it came from penalties, like massive, DPIs and things like that. But if you look at a few things, you talked about Ardarius and Kyle. That's done a lot for the communication of this defense and mitigating the big play. If you look at the defensive linemen up front getting healthy again, helping that pass rush come along, it's another big piece. I'm not saying they're world beaters, but certainly these are guys that can make an impact. And just like Coach said, Michael Pierce is an absolute game wrecker, right? So getting these guys back is huge. But the other piece of it, to your point, the Ravens have struggled with these like thoroughbred number 1 wide receivers all year. I mean, look at the stat lines that Jamar Chase has put up against us.
Oof.
It is tier worthy.
Yeah.
Like, it is just bad. Great for them. Really terrible for us. But if you have a guy now that allows, that you can, I'm not saying Wiggins is an island, right? Like you can just, I guess you can put him on an island, but he's not like
Revis. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just because that's a lot of pressure to put on a rookie. But I think what it does is it allows you to have Marlon stay where his value seems to be highest. And that seems to be on the inside, around the line of scrimmage, playing in the slot and things like that. And I know there's still issues with Brandon Stevens and things, but this is a big deal for the Ravens because now you have identified a guy that can match up the entire game against their dude and say, and then the other thing too is you can throw different guys at him too. You throw Marlon at him once in a while, whatever, right? But having Wiggins established as an elite, as a solid corner, I don't know if elite is a bit hyperbolic, but as a solid corner is a big deal for this defense. And a huge reason, just defensively as a whole, all the things I talked about, why we should be confident going into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's a lot of teams out there that they're struggling with health. And I think the Ravens are getting healthier. They're getting better. And their rookie class is really starting to shine. We didn't talk much about it. And it's no shock that Roger Rosengarten had 100% snap share. Most offensive linemen do. Well, I guess in this game, they didn't actually because they were sitting on the sideline for some of the fourth quarter, but typically he does. And this guy has been nothing short of incredible. I mean, this guy in the last 4 weeks, 4 games, has given up a total of 2 pressures, and that's over 100 pass blocking snaps. So the rookie class, particularly on the top end, is really, really showing out, led by Wiggins, of course. Massey says, I appreciate the super chat, Mass.
Yeah.
He says, a notice whether finished second up to 7th seed. Still have to play 2 of the Bills, Steelers, Kansas City. Does it matter whether it's home or away? So why not just take rest week 18 all starters? Agree? Oh, okay. All right. So
I think we're going to go through this. Go through the scenarios, right?
Yeah, we're definitely going to. But just as a quick, do you think – so let me ask you this. If it doesn't – if it doesn't matter in a large – like if we already are guaranteed the playoffs, but seeding might change slightly, but let's say it doesn't make us have a home game. Do you want us to bench meaningful starters in week 18?
So if there's no chance of a home game, huh?
Right. Maybe the difference is either you're the 6th seed or you're the 7th seed.
So it's just a matchup. It's just a matchup game at that point. I sit the guys then.
You sit them, even with the history of when the Ravens have chosen to sit their guys. It didn't always end well the next game. There was some rust. And even where Coach Harbaugh was asked if you could do it again, he said, I probably wouldn't have sat my guys.
Yeah. I just really like the rest, man. But you bring up good points. I mean, even coming off the bye, they were a bit slow to start, right? Slower than we would have wanted. So, that's a good question. I hope we have the luxury of having the problem.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know?
That's a good point. Well, I guess I'd like to rather have the division, but
Right. But it would be nice to have that and still have that problem.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Look, the Steelers got to play us and KC and the Bengals still.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And don't mess with the Bengals right now.
No. I mean,
Joey B's pissed off.
They destroyed, and he was still cursing his head coach out, which I kind of like. And I don't want – stop making me like anything you do, Burrow.
I know, seriously.
Let me hate you. Let me dislike you. But I did like what he did there because because people are like, wait a minute, didn't they just score a touchdown? He comes to the sideline, he's furious, he's throwing shit. He's like, we should have beat him by 80, he said. But anyway, but Massey, to your the rest of your chat there, we're gonna go into a deep dive into this in just a moment to to see how things are gonna go. Sean Coles, appreciate you.
Yes,
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for watching. Thank you all for watching. And like Sean says, please hit the like button. Appreciate that.
Yes, thank you, Sean. Shout out.
But also, hold on real quick, Jimbo. I just want to make sure there's nobody else in here. Quick question, Jimbo. Does the coaching staff watch the team and they're rooting for you? I mean, watch the game or the show and they're rooting for you?
The coaching staff because of Dafe Owe? Is that right? 47%?
Yeah, now that is an increase.
Where's my boy at? Tavius Robinson, 56%.
Like
Van Noy, 57.
Like what?
Where's
even
Ajabo? 28.
Yeah, he got a sack this game. What the?
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Glenn. But look, Saturday he's got a chance. I mean, he had 3 on Russ last time.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. But they know that too, right?
Yeah.
The Steelers know that, and they're, I'm sure, going to have that guy circled.
Oh, and you know what else I think is funny? Speaking of the upcoming game, I love the news already coming out. And there's going to be JJ's going to be, TJ? Yeah. TJ's going to be playing through injury. He's so tough. Such a tough guy. Like, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
I really contained myself with saying the word shut up because then my son started saying the word shut up. But, so I'm going to say it here really aggressively because he's asleep. Shut up already. Like, I don't want to hear about how tough TJ Watt is.
No.
Okay?
No.
Like, golly days. Let's see. Kevin Johnson says, watch the Ravens blow out the Steelers. Yes, that would be awesome. It would be an incredible gift to all of us prior to Christmas. And then on Christmas Day, really seal the deal, doubling down, beating another playoff team, which I'm excited to watch that game as well.
And it'll be interesting to see who plays on their side because you mentioned TJ Watt, but also Pickens. He's missed the last 2 weeks. has the hamstring injury.
Mm-hmm.
I know that their
They're
plan
saving
was
him for this game.
sure, and that looks like the case, but he still hasn't been practicing. I can't imagine he's been doing a ton of running. So what
Right.
condition is this George Pickens going to be? That could be something to watch for. But certainly TJ Watt. I mean, let me ask you this: who if only one of them can play? As a Ravens fan, who would you say? All right, I'd rather that guy
TJ
play.
sit.
Okay, yeah, of course, right?
Because somehow I don't understand it, Glenn. Every game, not against us, every game he gets a free path. How do you let TJ go unblocked?
Yeah, man.
Every game he's got a free sprint to the quarterback. And he gets up and he celebrates with his stupid kick and he made a big play. Dude, literally all you did was run fast and tackle someone. You made no move. You took 7 steps and tackled someone.
Yeah.
You did nothing spectacular there. I just blown assignment. That's all it was.
Yeah, he was super hype. He was super hype about that. But okay, well, we'll see what he does this weekend. I think he's going to miss personally. I don't see why they would rush him out there and risk it.
Talking about TJ?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Pickens?
Well, Maryland, Texas says he was running ladders today on the side. Didn't look hampered at all. So I think the plan it will be enacted. Save him for Baltimore. And I think that, but that's okay. Like you said, I mean, I would like to beat him at full strength, but it'd also be a little easier if TJ wasn't out there.
I ain't got no problems with that.
And
I kept telling my wife that my tribal caveman brain kept kicking in after I saw him go down in that last game.
Oh no.
I'm like
That's
trying.
What my son did. My son cheers for. I go, Cam, you can't cheer for injuries. He's like,
I'm
not.
I
Stop it. Stop it, Cam.
Trust me, Cam. I know the feeling, dude. I'm there. But really quickly, I want to talk about something that was on my mind. Okay.
Okay. All right.
And I don't know how much this has to do with football, but it does have to do with football in a little bit. I'll come back around. Okay. Today was unseasonably warm. It's been very cold, and I got the opportunity to stretch the legs out. So this winter, I've decided that my weekly mileage is no longer my top indicator as far as what's important to me in prepping for next year for running. Mm-hmm. It is strength, speed, and elevation. Those are my 3 focuses right now. Mileage is 4th, right? Okay. But today had nice weather, so I decided to get out there. Eugene and I did 9 miles together, nice and slow around the harbor. Took our time, whatever. But when I was running, I was thinking a lot today about the act of running and how it relates to this season. Okay. And one of the things that I think is really cool about running is that I've never encountered a situation where I can't take another step forward, whether it looks good or it's hideous or it's ugly or otherwise. Right. But so I've been in moments where every step is extremely painful. It's not fun, but I physically can do it. Mm-hmm. Right. You just keep moving forward. Right. You just take the hits, you move forward, and you keep going because you can. You can. Even your brain says you can't. Your feet keep going. One of the things I think is awesome about, so what I was going to say is I would encourage all of you that haven't experienced that to experience that. That's my soapbox because it's an incredible feeling. It's painful
to run.
Yeah, but get to the point where you're like, dang, my brain is telling me to stop because I'm in some pain here, and just take a couple extra steps, maybe go an extra mile because it just changes the way your brain works. I don't know. It's a great feeling. So get there. But what I was going to say is that one of the things I think is awesome about this team is that we take the hits. Mm-hmm. I've seen people in races get injured, get cramped, fall, run into trees, everything else, and they DNF. They do not finish. They're done, right? But the competition is always the course. It's always the season. It's not the people around you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So to my point, the Ravens have taken some licks this year. They've gotten beat in silly ways. They've made goofy mistakes, but I really think they can round this thing out, man. And I talked about it in the last show, this is on the hills. This is where men are made. Men, women, or otherwise. This is where champions are made, right? Dude, I cannot wait. And anyway, I've just taken some time thinking about it today. I get really introspective when I'm out there for a while and had some time. So, anyway, I'm excited where the Ravens are right now because I think we're battle tested. I just think we are a battle tested, hardened team, man. The defense has been bad, objectively bad, and they've dramatically improved. The offense has had bumps in the road and had to figure things out, not only this year, but as the years have gone on, right? As Lamar has matured. Man, I really think we're at a precipice right now. I really do. And that's right. But I think we're at a flexion point. You know what I mean? Where it's like, can we turn the page? Can we get over that hill and just smash it down the hill? You know what I mean? Can we just cruise? Right. So anyway, yeah.
He said, but Maryland, Texas, running into trees? Are these runs really bar crawls?
Well, look, when it's muddy, rainy, and windy, and you're running down a hill, right?
Things happen.
Like some guys get overzealous and they lose control. So like, it only happened once. Like we were running down a hill and there was a sharp, like a full-on switchback, and the guy behind me, I could hear him, trotting down this hill. You know what he sounded like? I had this vision of Gimli.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Gimli, the little dwarf from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep up
Yeah.
with Aragorn while they're running all gracefully and stuff. Anyway, he's coming down the hill and he passes me on the left. And I'm like, dude, we got to turn. We got to literally like a full-on switchback coming up. And there's this adolescent tree. Like just this adolescent. And he just
this poor tree.
No turn at all. Like doesn't even get a foot around. Runs right into the tree, like right here. Just just rocks the tree, takes all the breath out of him. He lands in the mud, everything else. He gets up, he's like, I'm good. But so it happens.
I love that. Don C says one tree in Baltimore and Jimmy's people hit it. Yes.
That was at Patapsco State Park, by the way.
Okay. All right. You get a slide there. One thing before we get into the playoff calculator. We talked about it, but it didn't affect the game. The penalties did not affect the wins or the win or loss, obviously beating them 35-14. But Jimbo, any normal game against a competent NFL team, certainly against a playoff worthy NFL team, 12 penalties for 112 yards. I can't imagine them overcoming that against a good football team that's motivated to win. They're still the league leader in penalties. The Titans are trying to catch them, but they haven't just yet. But how concerned are you that this is just who the Ravens are? At this point, there's 3 games left. This is just who they are, Jimbo. Do you have any hope that somehow they're going to cure these penalties as we get to the playoffs?
Yeah. So to my same point, like the Ravens have found ways to fix things. Right. And I don't think they've found a fix for the penalties yet, but I think that they will. I know this is who we are. I don't have a ton of evidence, specifically speaking to the penalties, to back up my statement. But I do believe that John as a coaching staff, if you think about scenarios, I always talk about this, the Bryant McKinney, remember when we plugged him in, when we got we got rid of Cam Cameron. Like there are other things. Think about the Malik Harrison situation, right? Like we've done things in season on the fly to make dramatic changes. I do think that this can be a ship we can right. So I'm hopeful. The Ravens have learned how to solve problems mid-flight. Now, can they solve this one, right?
That's the question because, man, I can't imagine beating these teams that are already as good as they are. It's already as tough as it is to get over that hump. But doing that with, shooting yourself in the foot every step of the way, I hope they can get it figured out. But, man, it's frustrating. Some of it's unfair. Some of it's ticky-tack. But you don't lead the league without a lot of it just being legit. It's a big problem. Let me see here. Devin looks like he has a comment here. Let's see. Devin says, depending heavily on how this game goes, but if we secure a solid victory and look at least competent against the Steelers, peaking at the right time? Oh, absolutely peaking at the right time.
He just basically said what I said in 1,000 words, right? Like, can we peak at the right time, right?
Yeah, and it certainly looks like the defense is trending in that direction. And to some degree, the offense got back on the right track after the first few drives, although I think some people were rightfully so still not necessarily convinced that they have their swagger back. They still had some struggles early on, but righted the ship. But yeah, absolutely, they could be peaking at the right time. I'm happy that we're coming from this angle and not from the angle of we're the top dog, number 1 seed, have this thing sealed up for weeks, and we have to make decision who to play, who not to play down the stretch, and then we go. I like that we're going in hungry and hopefully, like Devin mentioned, peaking at the right time. Fingers crossed. Appreciate the super chat, Devin.
Yes, for sure. All right, Glenn, should we get in this calculator?
I think it's time.
It is time. Speaking of which, I am so excited for the Mufasa movie to come out.
Dude, I just saw a pretty good trailer. What was that? Yeah, it looked sick, bro.
Dude, sick. I haven't watched a trailer so many times. I don't think ever in preparation. I'm a huge, dude, that's my favorite Disney movie. Lion King. Yeah, Mufasa looks awesome. Oh, shoot. Actually, one more thing before we get into the calculator. We got to talk about the MVP conversation.
Oh, yes, that's what it was.
Because I think we're all, as Ravens fans, getting tired of this Josh Allen debate, man. So, look, I think the way that we should approach this is, can we put up the stats first while we talk about it? Is that cool?
I love that. Yeah, I'd love that.
Because they speak so loud. Everyone on ESPN, every talking head is saying that Josh Allen
Do we have the stats, by the way?
Yeah, DK has them. He's going to put them up here in a second, I think. That he's the guy. He's the one that's going to win the MVP. In fact, I think he has the best odds right now for winning the MVP. And I'm here to tell you the only reason Josh Allen would win the MVP, two reasons. One, if Lamar Jackson, absolutely doo-doos for the rest of the season, that's a possibility, albeit not likely. But the only real reason I see is just simply voter fatigue.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Glenn, talk to me about these stats, dude. Like, in what way is Josh Allen the MVP here?
What is this? This is not this year, right? Or this is career. Oh, no, I was just talking about I was talking about this year where they had their two.
Yeah, that's what I thought. My bad, DK. I thought I gave you the right one. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, it looks like that's like career stats. Yeah, I mean, that's the part that's, and look, we're not here going, Lamar needs another MVP. He certainly doesn't need another MVP. But I think the part that is irritating, because I wouldn't even mind if they were like, if I had to, I might lean towards Josh. I wouldn't even mind. But it's the proclamations I'm seeing on ESPN and on X and all that stuff where like decision over or MVP races done and all this and that. It's like, first of all, there's 3 games left, 3 incredibly important games against big time, huge talent or huge teams as far as importance of, where they look at this. So there's still plenty of time left. Let's say Lamar puts up 6 touchdowns and no picks against the Steelers this weekend, and Josh Allen has a mediocre or average game or even a slightly above average game. Okay, so that's not going to change anything. But even if that doesn't happen, and we just look at right now, look at your screen, ladies and gentlemen. What are we talking about? He's got a far better completion percentage. He's beating him in every passing category, because that was the thing before. Oh, look at the passing. Look at the passing. Okay, well, let's look at the damn passing. He's got more yards than him, more yards per attempt, more yards per game. He's got 9 more touchdown passes and 2 less interceptions. His rating is nearly 20 points higher. Rushing yards per attempt. You name it, he's got it. He's beaten him in every single category other than rushing touchdowns and overall team record, which is not a personal accomplishment, but it does impact. I get it. But let's not act like Lamar's, 1-9. I mean, he's not.
Right. What are we talking about here?
He's still firmly entrenched in the playoffs, has absolutely every opportunity to win his division. This is insane that they're acting. And then, not to mention, he beat him this year. He busted his ass this year. Was this not where was this at? Where was it?
In Baltimore.
Absolutely took these boys to school.
Yeah.
Our defense was still in shambles, and we shut that team down. We still had Marcus Williams in the backfield, and we shut 100%. These jokers down. So what the hell are we acting like this race is over for, Jimbo?
Yeah, I don't get it. Let me ask you this before I agree with all of your takes 1,000%. But what do you think is it just voter for that's what I was gonna say. The crazy part here, just so all you guys know, I'm sure that you're all super smart, but all of these in green, Lamar is better than him at, right? Like, that's just look at all the green on Lamar's side. How insane is that? Right?
9 more touchdown passes, Jimmy. 9.
Yeah, and the only reason he has more rushing touchdowns than Lamar Jackson is because they don't have Derrick Henry.
Right.
Like, he is their entire rush. The crazy thing too, Glenn, is look at his total rushing yards. Like, even rushing, except for the touchdowns, Lamar still dominates him. Like, lapping he's not doubling him up here, but goodness gracious, he has way more attempts, Lamar does, and he's still way more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just ridiculous. I don't understand here this was my question. Do you really think the voters are fooled the way that the people on TV are?
I think that, anytime the TV is beating you over the head with this guy, I think it could absolutely impact the voters, but the voters themselves are the ones saying it. I believe doesn't Dan Orlovsky have a MVP?
I don't know. If he does,
he
should lose it.
I mean, he should. This is ridiculous. I mean, it's not even close to have 9 more passing touchdowns. Like, they're not even in the same realm when it comes to passing. Like, it's he's close to breaking the record for freaking passer rating all time in a single season. Like, this is
and then he's going to get close to 1,000 yards rushing.
Right. Like, so I think the main thing it is voter fatigue. I think Jax is mentioning it. It has to be the only thing that makes any sense is that it's voter fatigue and they're just tired of
that.
Him
and
winning.
could it be like produced moments, right? Like Dominique Foxworthy's favorite phrase is recency bias. He says it all the time, but to his point, there could be some recency bias in the moment, right? Like, do you remember last year? I don't remember this, but I called you and I was heated because the Cowboys barely beat the Seahawks, who we had stomped. That was last year, right? We stomped them. And I mean, it was embarrassing how bad we beat them. So it wasn't a game, but Dak produced a moment on live television right at the end of that game. And then all of a sudden Dak is the front runner for the MVP. And it's like, what are we talking about here? Right. So I wonder if some of this is just produced moments, right? Like, he just took down the almighty Lions, right? And then had that crazy game against the Rams, albeit in a loss for all the old heads that think it's all about, just simply wins and losses. Albeit in a loss. So it could be that too, right? It could be these produced moments. You know what I mean? That
a lot of that's built into the schedule, right? Like,
it
you're
is.
getting
So
to
to that, Glenn, if Lamar comes out here and absolutely dominates and produces a moment in this game, the problem is this though: when Lamar dominates, people are bored.
They take it for granted. Yeah,
people are bored, right? Because he's sitting the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Because we've never seen anything like him, dude. So, but anyway, if Lamar can do this, pull off the win and produce a moment, I mean, this could be a huge one. Oh, someone else is saying, did the Chiefs beat did the Bills beat the Chiefs this year?
Yeah,
they did?
We beat the Bills.
Yeah, right. And so I mean, it's all a big circle. It's like the circle of life.
The Bills aren't a good team. We beat them. I mean, beat them badly.
Yeah. We handled that game. No, we handled that game.
By the way, I don't know. It just seems like, okay, if Josh wants to win it, I'm okay. I mean, if they want to give Josh the win,
give
okay,
it to him, whatever.
But this whole it's MVP race over, it's just so
that's
so
the crazy
goofy.
Part to me.
Yeah, it's silly. Stop. It's absolutely silly. And so let's not act like the Ravens haven't beaten good teams this year.
Right.
Like, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah,
and by the way, they have an opportunity to beat a good team again this weekend and then a good team on Christmas. And maybe, so for Dan Orlovsky, if he goes out on Christmas Day and puts another Jackson 5 on these guys with 0 interceptions, that doesn't move. Don't say the race is over with 3 meaningful games left. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this playoff calculator. I'm starting to sweat over here. How concerned, really quickly, Kevin Johnson says, how concerned are you about Tucker still? I am. I'm not. I'm defending I'm backing up my guy.
I'm concerned as shit.
Yep.
I'm terrified. I am absolutely terrified that he's going to be the reason we lose. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Jimmy's right.
Yep.
But until he makes a kick under pressure, I'm scared. I'm scared.
Yeah. DK, I already did my rant. It was a bit underwhelming, apparently. I appreciate it, though. I could have gone on and on. I just didn't want to get too in the
It wasn't much of a rant. It's more of an inspiring,
it was a soapbox moment. You know what I mean?
I
was just thinking about it today a lot.
Yeah, and you want other people to feel this way that you feel.
Dude,
you know?
It's awesome. It's probably, I don't know if drugs are similar. I've never done drugs.
Don't start comparing stuff to the feeling you get from drugs. Okay.
I'm just saying.
There's a reason they mess up lives. Okay. They feel great. All right. Let's not. I'm not saying don't do them, by the way, because man, there's a reason they ruin lives, because man, do they feel wonderful. But
I will say this,
I've heard
there's a ridiculous high concentration of recovering addicts that are in ultra athletics. It is crazy high.
Because they're addicts. They're not drug addicts. They're addicts. So they turn their addiction towards exercise, which is a healthy addiction, and I applaud that. But yeah, an addict is an addict, no matter what they're doing.
Calibration doesn't exist. I can
Cocaine is a hell of a drug. Yes, it is.
Could you imagine me on coke?
No, I mean you'd be really fast. Do a bump at mile 18, brother.
I'd be afraid that something would happen to my heart, though.
Oh, dude, your heart, you see it outside.
Yeah,
just
like
the
cartoon,
bro. Yeah. Ahooga. I do. Oh, yeah.
Bad.
Oh, Sergeant Pisker in the chat. Oh, no. Where is he? I haven't seen him. Where are you at,
Sean, you can test me for any drug for any length of time you ever want. I don't care. Whatever.
You ain't catching Jimmy. You ain't catching nothing in his system, bro. You can catch the hair. You can go down all the way to the follicle. You ain't gonna find no.
You know how expensive my pee would be on the black market, dude?
Let me tell you.
It'd be like Heisenberg's meth. You know, like the pure.
It's like pure 24 karat gold coming out of there, Jimbo. I mean, that shit unfiltered doesn't even matter, dude. Somebody could drink you. Hold on. All right. That was too far. But if I had to drink anyone's. All right, never mind. Jimmy, John says you're going to feel high after eating that Baconator. I think you might. I think your brain's going to be firing receptors.
Yeah, the MSG, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Gonna light up. But Don, look. We'll see how Glenn feels after when he's at like 2.5 miles. He's at 4K out of those 5K.
I'll be fine, Jimbo. I'm an athlete. I'm a warrior.
Oh, no, I think you're going to feel amazing. No, that's what I'm saying.
Good. I will. And you might just start me down kind of a line or a lane of not just better health, but also look, you could have a running buddy. We could do a what is it called? A relay. You know,
relay, dude. Let's go, bro.
I hope Axel's messages or I hope his chat is not true.
Oh my gosh.
Well, look into that, Axel. That's be safe out there in Towson. I hope that's not the truth. But all right, let's pull up the
7 people shot in Towson.
Is it in the Towson Town Center?
It says 7 people shot, White Oak Avenue and Lock Raven Boulevard, multiple gunshot wounds. Lock Raven Boulevard shut down. Yeah. So it looks like the close places are like the Comrades Crab and Seafood Market. It looks like a Total Wine and More. Anyway, wild. 7 shot and 1 killed. But see now this says Parkville. Anyway, that's wild. Hopefully everyone's okay. Goodness gracious. I mean, obviously one person has already passed away, but
yeah,
that's terrible.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. All right, well, let's talk about the Ravens playoffs now.
All right, let's do it. Let's pull up the calculator here and see how things have changed, because
things have changed.
And finally, the team we were rooting to lose actually lost, because my goodness, for weeks they just wouldn't. So
no, they wouldn't. So let's go to, all right, I might need to zoom in a little bit, right? Or
the other way a little bit.
There we go. I like that better.
There we go. And then try and zoom in. There we go. Cool.
Okay, so this is week 16. This is the current standings as you can see it. So some movement. I believe these two swapped.
Okay. Yep.
I think, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, not tons of movement.
Okay.
Right. But let's go through this because there's some big matchups this week. Glenn.
Yeah.
Who's winning this game, dude? Broncos, Chargers. I know who I'm rolling with. Where are you going?
Look, I want the Chargers to win that game, but I didn't like what I saw from them last week. That's a toughie at home. Let's see how let's try it once with the Chargers winning, and then we'll run it back.
I think Jim Harbaugh wins this game.
I hope you're right. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, and then let's just Take the Colts.
Oh, that's not just
Big game.
that's a big game, but I do
Yeah.
think that they win anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what about these two? I mean,
I've got to go with the Chiefs unless
even with
Mahomes
the whole
isn't playing.
Mahomes ankle drama
Dude,
and all
he's
that.
just like Ben too, bro.
So annoying.
Didn't he really need to get on that cart?
Right.
So the game's over and he's on the cart with his phone. I can't. Well, I mean,
stop.
Just so freaking dramatic, bro.
Get
off the cart, you goof.
For real. Stop it. Okay, Ravens, Pittsburgh. We're both going Ravens, right?
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. You never know with
I
Glenn.
did pick the Steelers to beat us last time we played.
You did.
I did. And I was right, by the way.
Yes.
That, okay.
Now, is there any way the Bills stub their toe?
No chance.
No chance? Okay, so they roll.
Patriots.
What about this one? I know it's the NFC, but
I think it's a good matchup. I'm waiting for the Eagles to finally let this inner turmoil that they have actually affect them on the field. Somehow it doesn't. Did you see Javon Carter had to be like Coach Sirianni's trying to talk to him on the bench. Big Don and the D-line coach are telling him you can't get near Carter. Back up. Can you imagine anyone telling John he can't go talk to one of his players?
No.
Like, I don't know what the hell is going on there. And then Brandon Graham leaks the beef between their quarterback and wide receiver. And it's crazy. Crazy, Jimbo in Philly.
It's a whole thing. Kids these days.
Dude, Kevin, don't put it like that, bro. Don't say it like that, Kevin. Don't say it like that. That's what I was insinuating, but don't say it, okay?
Oh, goodness. Let's see. What about this one? Do you think the Bengals roll at home? Yeah.
Browns.
And then who cares?
Oh, I think that Dolphins game matters.
Yeah, that's why I didn't highlight it yet. Who do you think wins this one? I'm going to go San Fran. I don't think the Dolphins can beat even though they're beat up like
I was going to say, are they a winning team? Because they can't beat a winning team, but I don't think the Niners are a winning team. So I'm going to say the Dolphins, but
So we'll go with the Dolphins because we want the AFC to be more interesting over here. How about that?
There we go. Sounds good. Okay.
All right. So I think we picked every single. Oh, we didn't pick here though. I'm going with Washington.
All right.
And are there any other ones out there? Who cares about this game?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Okay, so no. Oh, they swapped. Right. No, they were already there. So no movement yet.
Okay.
Let's go to week 17. Now, how is there not movement yet if we beat them?
Mm-hmm. Well, what is our... Oh, because they, I guess, still have the tiebreaker.
Because of division record?
Yeah, because we have that one extra division loss that they wouldn't have.
Gosh dang it. Okay. And then the following week, you think they drop 3 in a row, dude?
Who? I do.
You do?
I do because, well, I guess what the determining factor in that is, are they still playing for something, the Chiefs? Because if they are and the Bills keep it close for that number 1 seed, then, but if the Bills do stub their toe or, yeah. All right, put the Bills as a winner there as well. So
still 2 games back. So
yeah,
really not much to play for.
Yeah. But they're not going to rest them both week 17 and week 18.
Why not?
Because then they get a bye week. You're talking about a month between games.
I don't know.
Are you benching your key players for a month?
I don't know. I'm not Andy Reid. No, he's not. I mean, he plays them in the preseason. So
That's true. That's true. He does. But he is banged up.
He is
banged up.
So are you keeping the Chiefs as the winner in this game in Pittsburgh, coming off back-to-back losses?
Nah, let's put the Steelers as winning that game.
Okay.
Let's put that.
All right. So let's just roll through some of these that are important. Oh, what about this one, Glenn? Ooh.
That all depends on, in my opinion, if the Bengals are mathematically eliminated. If they're playing for something, they win.
Yeah.
But they could be out of it by then.
Gosh, their record is so bad.
Who?
The Bengals.
I know, dude.
So bad.
I love it.
I know, it's pretty awesome.
I love every second of it.
Let's see. I think I've picked every game. We picked us to win, the Steelers to win, and they keep the AFC North division title for not title for first place for the time being. But obviously, still a week left, so this is the determining factor of what it'll come down to, of course, because division game. But let's just roll through some of these for the sake of doing it real quick. Now, I'm going Bengals here or Broncos here because I don't think the Chiefs will have anything to play for. Okay. The Dolphins.
That's how you should just put a betting line together, Jimbo. Just quick, boom, 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 right from your gut, bruh.
Dude, what about this one?
Well, I don't think Detroit will have anything to play for at this point.
Wait, is there no way they can lose the?
The only way is if the Eagles keep winning and Detroit stubs their toe at some point. But we haven't picked them to lose yet.
So who do you say wins
now?
Here
Pick the Eagles. Pick the Eagles to win.
The Eagles already won. It's still.
Oh, because you picked the Eagles to lose the week.
But see, this is where I'm at though, because they're both 14-3 in our projections, both the Minnesota Vikings and Detroit. But they must be a divisional.
Because you had the Eagles losing to the Commanders, which would make their division record.
Yeah, but why doesn't Minnesota jump Detroit?
I guess it's got to be division.
Got to be a division thing, right?
Yeah, because that's usually the first tiebreaker record in the division.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let's see.
But do you think at week 18, if the Bengals are eliminated, do they?
Oh, they're gonna go. Yes.
They want to be spoilers.
Yes.
Okay. That's enough of a motivating factor, huh? All because it's not going to knock the Steelers out of the playoffs. It'll only knock them out of the division lead.
Yeah. So we need freaking.
But hold on. If we do that, look what that does.
I know.
That's another Harbaugh Bowl, baby.
Yeah.
Now, who would you rather play?
That's what I was saying. Either way, we're going to be playing someone that we've already played.
Yeah. And as of Christmas, we'll find out if it's a team we've already beaten or not.
Right.
But who would you right now? Haven't played the Texans yet. Where would you be more confident? At home against the Chargers or on the road against the Texans?
I want to say at home because it's at home, right? I think the Harbaugh factor plays in. That makes me a bit more nervous.
Okay.
I'm so up in the air about that. For some reason, I'm not nervous about playing the Texans.
Well, that's because last year we played them, we absolutely destroyed them.
And they don't look nearly as good as they did last year. And we look better, offensively at least.
But they got some guys, bro. They got Nico Collins, who missed a lot of the year. He's back healthy. Yeah. I know you have no fear of Joe Mixon, but
no. And they're just a terrible Right. I mean, they're in a terrible division. They're not very battle tested.
Now that they are not, because they definitely have the worst division in football, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. I say I'm gonna go with the Texans, even though it's on the road. Wow. I don't like that answer though. I don't like it. I'm gonna go with at home. I'd rather be at home. Whatever the matchup is, let's be at home.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Although, do you think the Dobbins injury in the game played a bigger role? Like, if he doesn't go down, do you think the outcome could have been different? Similar to the Tampa, like things looked a lot different until Evans.
I understand that, but the thing about the Chargers, that even if they played a little bit better offensively, I just don't think they have the firepower to keep up.
Right. Yeah.
That's the problem, right? And with Roman's system, you gotta play mistake-free football. It's methodical, down the field, long drives, sustained drives. I don't think they have the firepower to get it done. Not right now.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And the sad thing is, I think they got the quarterback. I think they've done a lot to address the offensive line.
Yep.
I think they got a stable of quality running backs. Maybe not a stud, but they got a stable of pretty good running backs. And I think Ladd McConkey's a good player. He's
a good player.
He's like a 2-3.
Yeah.
And I think if they would have kept Keenan Allen and he was healthy, I think their chances would be way better than they are right now. But I don't know what they got in that trade exactly. I know it was like draft picks, but did they get?
And they're looking to build.
And he's an older guy, but man, how much scarier would they be with a healthy Keenan Allen?
Whew. Yeah. And how much of I don't know why I enjoy watching Caleb Williams not play good football.
Dude, Caleb Williams is... Did you see that clip of him on the sideline? He's leaned back. It's just such a bad look, and I feel bad for him because I don't think I think he's not necessarily in the best situation. He's leaned back. He's just like defeated looking. He just looks like he wants to.
His body language is terrible.
So bad. It's so bad as it all.
How did people think he was a leader? That's the crazy part to me.
And dude, he's running around like this is college, getting absolutely
That's what I'm saying.
Destroyed. Bro, this ain't
Right.
college.
Right. Any college team that had a pro-style defense made him not look great.
Yeah.
You know?
He's struggling, but hey, that's fine. That's the NFC. We don't have to deal with the Bears.
No.
NFC.
Yeah, I just enjoy it because he hates the University of Utah. He painted on his nails, Utah sucks, and then got beat.
And it's not because he painted on it. It's not. Look, Maryland, Texas, a guy writes on his nails one time and he's dead to Jim.
No, I don't write on your nails whoever you want, but don't write Utah sucks and then come in there and prissy foot around in the backfield and just get rocked.
Yeah.
Right, like, and then go, I'm the number one pick and I'm the savior of the. Like, he's so.
And you know what?
Thinks he's already arrived.
He's going to be third at best for Rookie of the Year, and I think way lower than that because. I mean, Bo Nix, Jaden. I mean, then you got to go through a list of other rookies at other positions than quarterback, I think, before you get to where Caleb is. So,
yeah,
he messed up.
He's a doo-doo bird.
But yeah, look,
Brock
this
Bowers, DK brought up Brock
Oh,
Bowers,
my
dude.
gosh. He's about to break Puka Nakua's receiving record. Poor Puka. This guy goes out there, he does this great thing, and then the next year, a guy takes his records, and he's a tight end playing for a shitty team. But yeah, there's a lot of good. I mean, I could name a bunch of guys I think I would take over as far as Rookie of the Year over Caleb Williams if you give me the list. But yeah.
But look, at the end of the day, what we need to win. We need the Steelers to look. Either the Steelers need to lose to the Chiefs, or so they need to go 1-3.
And they have 3 tough opponents. So
1-2 in the last 3.
Yeah.
But I mean, sorry, because we kind of started this with 4 games left. They're already 0-1. Right? We need them to lose 2 more. 1-3 in total, right?
Exactly.
I don't think they go 0-4. I mean, if we're being realistic, right?
Well, one of the games is against a Bengals team that we don't know
what they're going to show up and be.
Yeah, exactly.
But let us know what you guys think is going to happen in division. If the Ravens have a chance at it, what you would prefer? Would you prefer them to be on the road against the Texans, at home against the Chargers? Because those look like the 2 most likely scenarios. Leave your comments below, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
See you.